Hi, I'm Steve, also known as the Unconventional UFOlogist. Welcome to From the Archives. This is a subsection of the Unconventional UFOlogist channel exploring little-known UFO cases that have been gathering dust on the shelves and now presenting them as short videos. Today we're going to look at a peculiar incident that occurred in Cennina, Tuscany, Italy back in 1954. This case involves one of the most fascinating close encounters in UFO history. So let's dive in. It was the night of November the 1st, 1954 in Cennina, a quiet village near Arezzo. Two friends, 37-year-old Rosa Lotti née Daianelli and 20-year-old Lucia Badesi, were walking to church for All Saints' Day Mass.
It was about 6:45 in the morning. The sun hadn't quite risen yet. We were taking the path through the pine grove near Chiesa di Cennina.
What happened next would become one of Italy's most remarkable UFO encounters. As they walked through the pine grove, Rosa spotted something unusual amongst the trees. At first she thought it was a tent or some kind of aircraft, but as they got closer they realised they were looking at something completely unfamiliar. The object was described as spindle shaped, about 6.5 feet tall and 3 feet wide, and it appeared to be made of transparent material, with a metallic ladder or set of steps leading up to an opening.
It looked like a double cone. Joined at the base, the surface seemed to shimmer, almost like glass or crystal.
But the truly extraordinary part of this encounter was yet to come. As the women watched, two small figures emerged from behind the craft. These beings were described as about 3 feet tall, wearing grey coverall type suits. Most remarkably, they appeared to be wearing what Rosa described as reverse clothes, with the buttons running down the backs instead of the fronts.
Their faces looked human, but they were very small. Like children, but they weren't children.
The beings approached Rosa and began speaking in an unfamiliar language that sounded vaguely like Chinese. In what must have been a surreal moment, they appeared interested in the carnations that Rosa was carrying to the church.
They kept pointing at the flowers and making sounds. I was terrified, but also curious. They seemed gentle.
In a moment of panic, Rosa dropped the flowers and fled with Lucia. When they returned later with others, both the craft and the beings were gone. Only trampled grass and some unusual marks on the ground remained. The Cennina encounter is particularly interesting for several reasons. First, it occurred during Italy's famous 1954 UFO wave, when hundreds of sightings were reported across the country. Second, the detail of the reverse clothes is unique in UFO literature and adds a peculiar authenticity to the account. The witnesses never sought publicity and maintained their story consistently for years. Rosa Lotti, in particular, was known in the community as a practical, no-nonsense person who had never shown any interest in UFOs or science fiction. Local authorities investigated the site and found unusual ground traces, but no definitive explanation was ever found. The case remains one of Italy's most well-documented close encounters. What makes this case particularly compelling is its simplicity. There were no dramatic special effects, no complex technology, just a quiet encounter in a pine grove that forever changed the lives of two ordinary women. The Cennina encounter reminds us that some of the most intriguing UFO cases don't involve dramatic chases or military encounters, but rather quiet moments of contact that leave us wondering about our place in the universe. That's all for this episode of From the Archives. I'm Steve Yarwood, reminding you to keep an open mind and always question the unexplained. And as ever, until next time, keep watching the skies.